Alright folks, let me get my drink going here. Hey, I wanna welcome everybody to my channel, to my video. And folks, it's been a beautiful day here in the Philippines. Now, prior to today, it's been raining like, I don't know, like a week straight. There's a tropical depression, small monsoon, or typhoon, whatever, I don't know. Roll through. It's been raining for a fucking week. Man. Oh yeah. I'm drinking a Crown and water. So anyhow, today was a beautiful day here. It's hot. Got my crew out of the house. Actually got some exercise in. Took them to the basketball courts. So we had a pretty good day today. And I've been working on this video, you know, during this damn rainy time. You know, folks, rain, let me just talk about rain for a minute. It really does affect your fucking mood. I don't think there's any way I could live in London or Seattle. The rain just truly fucks up your mood. You know, I just haven't wanted to do anything. I haven't been excited about getting anything going. It's just, man, I don't let no bitch and I don't let the weather affect my mood, but to a certain extent it does, because when you're trying to go out and do something and the damn street out there is like 6 inches, 7 inches, 8 inches of water, well, it does affect your operations. And when you don't get shit accomplished, well, I guess it does, you know, it does sort of affect you. But anyhow, enough of that rambling shit. What are we here to talk about today? Folks, we're here to talk about motherfucking traveler's diarrhea. And I'm just gonna, it's gonna be a long ass rambling video. I'm drinking. It's a beautiful night out here. And so we're gonna talk about traveler's diarrhea. The shits. The motherfucking runs. The trots. I mean, there's a million fucking names for it, right? Montezuma's Revenge if you're in Mexico. Deli Belly if you're over in India trying to find yourself. You know, doing yoga and that meditation and all that shit. So, the reason I'm doing this video, a lot of people ask me when they're coming over here, like right now I'm in the Philippines. I'm in Southeast Asia most of my time. They ask about the water. Now, when I was in the States and people were going down to Mexico, a little bit of a cough due to all this fucking rain. You just gotta bear with me and deal with it. You know, everybody talks about if you go to Mexico, don't drink the water. Don't drink the water, don't drink the water, what have you. Alright, I got it. You go down to Mexico, you drink the water, you're gonna get sick. Well, it's not just Mexico. Okay, you can get traveler's diarrhea from any country in the world. I mean, it's kind of a general term to you know, to describe some type of you know, something going on down in your gut where you're just fucking shitting like a goose. So if you're from the US, you know, if you go to Mexico, don't drink the water. But you really have to extend that to if you get most places outside of the West and some places in the West, you don't want to drink the water because it's contaminated with what I'm going to talk about in a minute, and you're gonna get a case of the shits. So what I've done, so I kind of stay on topic, and it's a serious fucking topic here, right? I went ahead and I did the blog post. And I've got the rough draft of the blog post here on my iPad, and I'm going to refer to this, and I'm going to try to stick to the script. So if you are a person that learns, you know, by reading, then you can just flip over to the blog post. The link's down in the description. You can basically read what I'm about to talk about. But I've spent some time on this, and I want to try to stay on script. So the first thing I want to say, let me throw a legal disclaimer out there. So all all of my trolls and everybody else gonna report me to the CDC and the State Department and the fucking medical board and who the fuck else you want to report me. Let me just give this legal disclaimer, all right, and it's on my site here. All right, number one, I'm not a doctor. I used to be a paramedic, believe it or not. And I do know a little bit about fucking medicine, but I am not a doctor. I'm not qualified to diagnose your medical condition, whatever problems you're having. I'm not here giving you medical advice. You can say this video is for entertainment purposes, but I'm also merely describing what I do, what I have done, what I will do if I am traveling off the beaten path, on the overstay road, backpacking, bebopping, and something happens to me where I get sick and my body's immune system doesn't take care of the problem. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice. And let me play Captain fucking Obvious here. If you have any medical problems, seek professional medical help. Go to a hospital, get some professional fucking help, dial 911, whatever. There, that's your fucking legal disclaimer. So any of you fucking skinny jean wearing fucking millennials and want to blame everybody else for your problems, if you still have a tummy ache after you watch my video and it doesn't fucking cure you, you know what? Fuck yourself. I don't care. I gave you the legal disclaimer, and that's it. That's all you're gonna fucking get. That's all the legal cheese gonna get served here. Alright, so moving right along. Okay, traveler's diarrhea. I just call it the shits. Now the word diarrhea comes from Latin, or maybe it's Greek. Fuck, it's one of the two. It's from way back. And it's a word which basically means a flowing through, or to flow through. A lot of colloquial, a lot of slang names, and I was just fucking Googling and I landed on that fucking Urban Dictionary. And it has a few terms here I'll throw out there for your entertainment. It's known as the shits, the runs, the trots. Here in the Philippines, they call it LBMs. Oh, I have LBM, loose bowel movement. That means you got the shits. The Hershey squirts, swamp ass, Cleveland tap water, spreading mulch, toilet gravy. And I don't get the Chewbacca sweater one, but I just started laughing. What the fuck's a Chewbacca sweater got to do with the shits? I got no fucking idea. And then traveler's diarrhea, it's got nicknames based on geographic locations. People call it Montezuma's Revenge. You're down in Mexico, down that way. Delhi belly if you're over in India. And one I looked at, I never heard before, they call it wilderness diarrhea or backcountry diarrhea. And I realize you get the shits if you drink out of a stream or a pond or something that's contaminated, but that pertains to hikers and backpackers. Whatever you want to call it, folks. If you're going on a vacation, the purpose of this video again is to discuss everything about it, but the main thing is it's going to fuck up your vacation. And a catalyst to this is that my buddy just came into town, and for these purposes I'm just going to call him Spider. Old Spider came into town and was here for like less than 3 days and got a severe case of traveler's diarrhea, the shits. And he was basically incapacitated for his entire time here. And so we talked about this, and I'm going to tell his story in a second. It's kind of funny. But we talked about this, and he said, look, man, you know what the main thing is? He said, you lose all your money. You lose all your fucking money. If you end up catching this shit, you can't leave the hotel, you can't leave a fucking crapper. So if you catch it on the first or second day and you're on a 10-day vacation, you're gonna spend 8 days on the shitter. You just lost all that money. It comes down to money. You just lost your time, your money, your entire experience, and you're gonna be fucking miserable. So this topic equates into time and thousands of dollars, really. So let me give you some statistics here. All right, according to the U.S. government, the good old U.S. government, 25 to 50%, 25 to 50% of international travelers will find themselves glued to the porcelain guide due to a case of fucking traveler's diarrhea. Folks, what is that? That's 1 in 4, 2 in 4. So that's a pretty high statistic. Now this is speaking from Americans, and most Americans don't travel. Most Americans don't have a fucking passport. But I would say the typical international American traveler, it's their first international trip or their second international trip. They're not frequent travelers. And so they have no idea what they're getting into. But there's your stats right there. So just make a nice round number. Half of the people from America who travel are going to end up with what I'm about to talk about. It's going to fuck up their vacation. You're going to ruin your vacation. And I decided to do this video and write this blog post because Spider was here. And what happened, I'm going to tell his story right now. But his story, and then it reflected back about a decade ago. I caught a bad case of the shits down in Guatemala, and that's a separate story. And then I also got a case of it when I was in Kabul. I couldn't leave a fucking porta shitter. But what happened to old Spider? I'll just tell the story now, and then we'll get back on the script. All right, like I said, that motherfucker's here about 3 days. Everything was good. We were down in Manila. We punched up to Angeles City. And immediately that motherfucker was sick as a dog. Fucking sweat, shitting, fever, body aches. Just curled up in the fetal position in the bed in this hotel room and just went from there to the shitter. Just couldn't fucking leave. Now the thing about him is that almost every time he's come to the Philippines, this is what happens to the man. 3 days, he's good. The rest of the time, he's sick as a dog in the hotel room and continues to be sick when he goes back to his home country. Well, this time was no different. After 3 days, he's sick as a dog to the point that we end up going to the hospital. Now, no need to name any names, but this was the hospital experience. We'd go there, get him checked in the emergency room. What are you here for? Man, I got a fucking, just the shits. I mean, uncontrollable diarrhea, just shitting like a goose. I can't stop it. I don't know what's going on. They take Spider back to a room. Doctor comes in, does the questions, and says, all right, well, what we're going to do is, we need to draw blood, do a blood test, and check out your blood, and we also need a stool sample. And he asked Spider, he said, you think you can produce, basically, give us a stool sample? The fucking Spider's like, I don't think that's going to be a problem. And so the doctor's like, all right, so I'm going to order the blood test and evaluate the stool sample. So a few minutes later, this nurse comes in and she's got this little plastic cup. Then it ain't no big fucking cup like that. I mean, it's one of them little plastic cups with a lid on it, and it's about the size. I mean, it wasn't much bigger than like in the States, when they like bring you those little plastic cups with your pills. If you're in a fucking emergency room or in the hospital, you have a little shot glass, right? It was like a little shot glass with a fucking lid on top. And she just drops it off and says, okay, just can you put the sample in here, and walks out. And he's like, well, wait a minute, doc. or wait a minute, man, where do I put it? And she's like, just bring it by the nurse's station. And that kind of brings up another issue, right? The reason he's asking is because in the U.S., you go to the hospital and you got to piss in a cup or provide a sample. There's a little fucking discreet window between the crapper and the other side, the nurse's station. There's privacy. So obviously he thought, okay, is there a window in there or what? He didn't know. She's like, no, just bring it by the nurse's station. And I told him, I was like, yeah, dog, there's no shame in the game here. Just bring that shit up, put it on the desk, and that's the way they do things. There ain't no little sliding fucking window. There ain't no privacy. So he goes to get up, and I said, wait a minute, man. Let me just make sure you're clear on how to do this. I don't want to insult your intelligence, but if you tell the average person go put a stool sample in there, they may accidentally contaminate the motherfucker, right? So I said, look, man, you need to shit direct into that little cup. And of course he's looking at me and he's listening. I said, don't shit in the fucking toilet bowl and then scoop down in the toilet water to get the fucking sample. I said, if you do, you're going to be picking up bacteria from the dude that was there before you, or bacteria that's been living in that fucking shitter, and plus you're going to scoop up the tap water. And he's like, oh shit, I didn't even think about that. I said, yeah, man, you got to shit direct in that fucking little motherfucking cup about that big around. I said, number 2, when you shit in there, put the fucking lid on it and then wash the motherfucker off in the sink. And he's like looking at me, and I said, well, look, if you don't put the lid on there and you try to wash it off in the sink, you're going to get tap water in there and you're going to contaminate it. Shit in the motherfucker, you're obviously going to have shit everywhere. Put the goddamn lid on there, wash that sumbitch off in the sink, and then and then clean yourself up and take the cup and go put it on the nurse's desk, right? So he's like, all right. So he rolls out, he had the shit anyhow. Matter of fact, let me back up. After the doctor said he's ordered a stool sample, the nurse took, like 10 minutes, she wasn't in there. It's like, yo, dude, I got fucking shit, man. Go get that fucking cup. So told, hey, get the fucking cup over here. The man's got a fucking shit. So they hurried up and brought the cup. They weren't in any big hurry. They didn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation. So anyhow, Spider rolls out. The motherfucker comes back like 15 minutes later, just like shaking his head. He lays back down on the bed. He's like, man, he said, this is crazy. I said, what happened? He said, I already had the fucking shit. I was about to shit my pants to get into the restroom. And he said, I got in there, got that fucking cup open, fucking blew it out, filled that motherfucker up, set it over on the counter and just kept shitting. And he said, then I looked around, I looked to my left and I looked to my right, and I realized there's no fucking shit paper in here. I was like, well, welcome to the Philippines, dude. You fucking know better. He said, yeah, but then I looked behind the fucking toilet bowl, there's no ass sprayer. I said, what? He said, no, dude, there's no fucking ass sprayer. I said, there wasn't no fucking trash can full of water with the fucking scoop? He's like, dude, there was nothing. There was nothing in there. And I was like, well, man, I don't fucking remember that, And then he says, yeah, but I didn't tell you the whole story. He said, I fucking blew shit all over the back of this fucking toilet. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, he's one of them dudes that's very particular about germs, which is funny because he always gets sick. But he's one of those that's always washing his hands. He's always got that little alcohol gel. Anywhere he goes, just very clean. Just very cognizant of all these germs, right? And so I forgot that he's a hover. He don't sit down on the fucking toilet bowl. Too many germs there. That motherfucker hovers. You know what I'm talking about? You standing up there fucking holding your shit up, fucking hovering and just letting it rip. Because you don't want to fucking get germs from the guy pissing on the fucking toilet seat before you. So he said when he went to blow it out, between holding that fucking cup and pulling his shirt up and everything and just having explosive shits, it just fucking went all over the toilet. just destroyed the fucking toilet in there. So he said after this is all done, he's looking around. There's nothing. There's no toilet paper. There's no ass sprayer. There's no water. The bathroom is wrecked. He said, so he said the only thing I could do, I did the only thing I could do. He said, I fucking backed my ass up over to the sink, you know, shit dripping on the floor, trail from the fucking toilet to the fucking sink, and basically tailgated that motherfucker. Now Spider's a big dude. Spider ain't no small dude. He's fucking 6 foot something, you know, a couple 100 pounds and a half, somewhere in there. And you imagine this big motherfucker with his ass up in the fucking sink, you know, trying to wash his ass. Basically tailgating the fucking sink in the goddamn bathroom. But if you think about it, that's the only option. That's the only water source. And so he said, dude, I felt bad. I still feel bad, but it ain't my goddamn fault. I came to the emergency room. I told them what I'm here for. I'm sick. You know, I'm fucking sick. And then they send me into this fucking bathroom. Don't say nothing about, hey man, there's no toilet paper. There's no ass sprayer. There's no water. Just go in there and shit in a fucking cup and put it on the nurse's station. And so I said, no man, that's on them. That's 100% on them. That's like a man with a gunshot wound rolling into the fucking emergency room, bleeding on the floor, and then they blame him. Well, that's what you're fucking there for. So anyhow, he fucking destroys this bathroom. You know, washes his ass the best he can. There's no soap. You know, and what can he do? There's nothing he can do. He said, dude, but that's not the worst of it. He said, when I opened up that fucking door and went to roll out, there was this lady that was vomiting. She was puking. She was sick too. One nurse is propping her up, and you know, another lady, I guess a family member, was propping her up. And so they were waiting on me. So the minute that I opened the door, they were trying to rush in because this woman was puking. And he said, man, when I traded places with them and I looked back, and all three of them looked back at me with this look of fucking horror on their face when they looked in that fucking bathroom. He's like, there's nothing I could do. I just kept walking. So we're discussing that, and I was like, you know what, man, but that's on them. I mean, we know we're in the Philippines, but when you show up in an emergency room and they don't give you a roll of fucking toilet paper and there's no ass sprayers in there, that's not the patient's fault. That's on them. And so after he tells this fucking story, I said, all right, let me run up to the little convenience store. I bought a man some shit paper. I go up to the fucking convenience store. Inside the hospital, they don't sell toilet paper. They sell Kleenex and they sell wet wipes. So that's what we got. No toilet paper. So folks, realize when you leave the West, okay, you leave all those things that you take for granted. You leave those behind. So when I was up there, I purposely went in the other restroom. Same shit. There's no toilet paper. There's no soap. That's any fucking restroom in the Philippines. You're never going to see toilet paper. You're never going to see soap unless you're in, you know, one of the higher end malls or a restaurant, a higher end restaurant, you know, a higher end hotel. The majority of the places, there is no fucking toilet paper. There is no soap. But usually there's a big ass trash can full of water in one of them scoops. That's what you use here. And if you're at a nicer place, there's an ass sprayer. I went in this hospital, in the bathrooms, nothing. Nothing. And you're just like, wow. Anyhow, go back down. They do the blood test and the stool test, and they just came in and said, hey man, you have traveler's diarrhea. And it was pretty just general. They didn't give any specifics. They just said you have traveler's diarrhea. The doctor prescribed some antibiotics. And so the pharmacy was closed. It was a Sunday. We humped over to the pharmacy across the street, picked up his antibiotics. And this old lady was paying the bill, and I said, look, dude, I wouldn't be a friend to you, but I said, you know, we went over there in a taxi. And I said, look, dude, we should take a tricycle back. And he's like, why? And I said, man, because you smell like shit. You fucking stink, man. I was like, dude, if we go in a fucking taxi, man, I mean, it ain't gonna hurt my feelings. I just roll the fucking window down, but I'm just letting you know that you smell like shit. Now, it's not your fault, but I was like, maybe we should take a tricycle back. Those spiders like, fuck that, man. I'm not riding in a goddamn tricycle, soaking up them diesel fumes. I'm getting in a taxi. I was like, all right, man, rock on. I'll just roll the fucking window down. So that was experience number one. Less than 48 hours later, the man was back at the hospital. This time he went to a different hospital. They told him the same thing. You have traveler's diarrhea, but they added, oh, by the way, you know, it's E. coli, and you also have some parasites. Now, they didn't specifically say Giardia. I don't remember what they said, but they said you got some parasites too. They hit him with some shit IV and bumped it up. Now, the man felt so bad, he was trying to change his flight. Spend extra money, change the flight, just go home. That's what it'll do to you. It just ruin your vacation. But he went back home still feeling like shit for days. And what he said, man, I don't know what it is in the Philippines. Every time I come there, it's the same shit. After 3 days, I get put out of commission. He said, I ain't never going back there. I just can't take it. I know what's going to happen. After 15 fucking times, I haven't built up any immunity, and it's the same shit over and over. And I don't blame him, because it's what happens to him every time. Now, I've been over here. I mean, he and I have been coming here about the same time, but he hasn't spent any real time here. Now, I've been on this side of the globe for about almost, just say it rounded up to a decade. I usually don't get sick. I don't get sick, and you know, apparently I've built up a tolerance. And you live in any place long enough, you're going to build up a tolerance to whatever the local flavor of bacteria, virus, protozoa is. But his system has not built up enough tolerance, and every fucking time he comes here, he gets sick. So that's his story. And I told him, sometimes doing a YouTube channel, it's like writing a book or being a writer. Sometimes you get creative block. I get creative block when I'm not fucking drinking. I wrote 2 fucking books basically when I was drunk on rum. For some reason, for me, when I drink rum, my creative side flows. Beer and whiskey, I run my mouth and I get stupid, but if I really want to be creative in my writing, I drink rum. But since it's been raining, I couldn't get out of the fucking house, or if I did, it's just coming a monsoon, I sort of had this creative block for the past week or so. And it's been, the positive side is I've just been playing with my kids all day. I get up, I look at the camera, I look at my computer, and I got nothing. Well, I'm stone cold sober, that's the problem, but I said, you know what, fuck it. This rain, I'm just going to play with the kids. So I spent a lot of time with my kids, playing with them, just, simple shit, going over flashcards. That's the positive side to it. But I haven't put any videos out because I just haven't had anything popping in my mind. But talking to Spider about his experience, I said, holy shit, man, I do need to cover this in depth. Because so many people ask me, is it safe to drink the water? Is it safe to brush my teeth? Is the food safe? I go through all these safety questions. But if you go to YouTube and type in traveler's diarrhea and stuff like that, there's some videos out there. They don't get a lot of views because, in my opinion, they're so fucking dry. They're so fucking politically correct. Or they're 45 seconds long, 2 minutes long, going off the best practices or whatever. They don't tell you shit. They don't tell you fucking ground truth. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, this is horse shit. They're telling people what they already know. Don't drink the tap water. No shit. But it's just like the nurse coming in there and saying shit in this cup and not giving any specific instructions. I mean, some people just shit in the toilet bowl and scoop it out, and the fucking lab results are going to be skewed. Anyhow, due to his situation and our talks, I said, you know what, man, I'm going to fucking cover this. I did a video a long time ago about how to shit at your girlfriend's house in a Philippine village, because so many people ask me, hey man, where do you go to the bathroom in the fucking village? My girl's from, you know, village in fucking Leyte. Where do you go to the bathroom? So I did a video. Check out that video. Matter of fact, I'll put the link down there. Boom, it's down in the description. And I fucking basically show you the conditions in my old lady's village about what you're gonna face if you go to the village. Anyhow, let's get back to all right. What causes travelers diarrhea? What causes you to get a case of the fucking runs that just won't go away? Now, there's three causes. It's either bacterial, it's viral, or it's a protozoa. It's a parasite. There's no use in getting into all the technical terms because it's fucking irrelevant. If you want to know, there's a link in my blog over to the CDC's website. But if you're sitting on an aircraft and you hit some turbulence, the fucking seatbelt sign comes on, and you gotta fucking shit like a goose, but you can't because you can't get up. You don't give a fuck if it's bacteria, protozoa, or fucking viral. You don't give a fuck. So I'm just gonna skip over that. But we go with bacteria. I'll just brush over them real quick. Like shit like E. coli, Shigella, Salmonella, Campylobacter, Vibrio. Then you go over if it's a virus, you're looking at like the rotavirus. I think that shit's carried by rats. Norwalk, enteroviruses, and the norovirus. I think that's the big one on cruise ships. Like when the whole fucking cruise ship gets sick, they all come down with that norovirus. Don't hold me to that, but I think that's what it is. And then the third one is protozoa, the parasites like Giardia. And I can't even say the other two that I've got listed, but Giardia is the big one. Now I've got a personal experience with Giardia. I was living in Georgia, it's 30 years ago, 25 years ago, fuck, whenever it was. Maybe 20, I don't. My girlfriend at the time, we had went to the lake that weekend. So it was a Saturday or Sunday. We went to the lake and we were swimming in the lake, skiing with my buddy Dave on his boat. And damn, man, Dave died back in '08. I miss that motherfucker, man. Shout out to you, brother, wherever you're at. I miss you. Anyhow, we were on Dave's boat, and a couple days later, I was doing something, and my old lady at the time called me, and she was like crying, and she's like, "Come home, my stomach hurts, need to go to the hospital." Well, all right, your tummy hurts, whatever. So I started shutting my shit down, whatever, heading back home. Well, when I got home, this bitch was in the fetal position on the kitchen floor, curled up, couldn't fucking move. I mean, I grossly underestimated the gravity of what she was trying to tell me. I just thought she had a tummy ache, whatever, you know, some Pepto-Bismol. I'll talk about that later, but no, she was so sick, I basically had to carry her to the car, get her to the fucking hospital, and they diagnosed her with having Giardia. Now, you know, it was obvious how we got it, or how she got it. I didn't get it, but she got it swimming in the fucking lake. And it did a number on her. And I think around the same time that happened, or years before, there was a water park north of Atlanta where a bunch of people got sick from, I think, Giardia, and there might have been one die. So I mean, this is some serious shit. All right, there's no puns intended when I use that. It's just the way I talk. But Giardia is the big one when you look at the protozoa route. All those can cause havoc in your digestive system, in your intestines, and just cause you to shit like a fucking goose. All right, so how do you get traveler's diarrhea? How do you get it? And let me just keep with my colloquial verbiage in my layman's terms. Make a long story short, you probably ate some shit. Literally. That's not a pun. That's not a fucking synonym. It's not a figure of speech. You got it by eating shit. You got it by ingesting some fecally contaminated water, some form or fashion got into your body. And I'll just give you a few ways that, you know, the general consensus will tell you, and I added a few little personal ideas of mine, a little personal flavor about how those little tiny morsels of poop got into your mouth, into your system, and caused all this fucking havoc. But it's through the fecal oral route of ingestion. I call it the shit to mouth, right? Fecal oral. All right, so number one, the big one, the most common, is just by drinking the local tap water in whatever country you've traveled to, and the local tap water is contaminated. When you leave the West, and again, some places in the fucking West, when you take your ass up to Detroit and drink the fucking tap water up there, get you a big fucking drink of Detroit tap water, and tell me how that works out for you. But in most places, when you leave the West, don't even think about drinking from the tap water. It's not up to speed. It's not potable. Don't drink from the tap. So if you drink from the tap, or any of that tap water gets into your body, and we'll talk about the routes, okay, you're introducing that bacteria, that virus, or that protozoa into your system. Okay, specific examples. Brush your teeth using the local tap water. Okay, you go to brush your teeth, it's habit, you put the fucking toothpaste on there, then you run the water just to wet it, whatever, boom. Now you've got contamination in your fucking mouth. It's that easy. So certain little things you don't think about. Now, do I brush my teeth with the local tap water and wash my toothbrush off? Yes, I do. But I've lived over here for a long time. I travel the world. You know, my body has a higher than the average person. It's a higher immune system, only because I've been exposed to all this shit. So myself, and I think a lot of expats as well who live in their respective countries, they don't fucking take a bottle of water into the restroom when they brush their teeth. They just, little things like that, they don't fucking worry about it that much. Now, am I going to take a big ass swig of water from the tap? Hell no. But I will fucking brush my teeth with the tap water and wash my toothbrush out. If you've never left your home country, do not do that. You take a bottle of water in there, brush your teeth with it. Don't use the water from the bathroom faucet. Okay, this is a big one. You can get it when food service workers who are contaminated with the virus, they go into the bathroom on their fucking lunch break, wipe their ass, and they don't wash their hands. They come back out and keep making your fucking bologna sandwich. So you're getting it from a food service worker not exercising basic hygiene with soap and water after he takes a shit. Boom. Now you're eating poop from the guy. You accidentally got tiny morsels of that bacteria, of that poop, on your fucking burrito, and now you get sick. That's a big one right there. By eating foods such as fruits, vegetables, and lettuce, for example, washed in the local tap water. Now, do you want your vegetables washed? Of course. Okay, there's a lot of contaminants on the vegetables to begin with, so you do want them washed. But if you have never been to that country, or you're an infrequent international traveler, you're going to have to stay away from the raw veggies because they washed them in the local tap water. You're going to have to go with vegetables that have been cooked. That's just the way it is. Now, you know, my situation, do I eat raw vegetables? Do I wash them in the tap water? Yes. But I've lived over here a long time. Again, if I went to, pick a country I've never been to, if I go there and I eat the raw vegetables washed in the tap water, I'll probably get a case of the shits there. So you have to be cognizant of that. Stay away from the raw vegetables that have been washed in the tap water, because that's another route of introducing it into your body. Okay, undercooked food, same way. Now, if you've watched my cooking shows, I fucking cook everything well done. You're not going to get any motherfucking bacteria, virus, or protozoa if you eat something from my kitchen. Now, do my steaks look like fucking charred boot leather? Absolutely. But they're fucking delicious. And I promise you, you're not going to get any fucking bug coming out of my kitchen. That's the way it is. So if you eat undercooked food, especially shit like shellfish, boom, there you go. Easy way to transmit the bacteria through undercooked food. Okay, what if you just order a drink and it's got ice in it? Now look, okay, ice, most of the ice is made by local tap water, so boom, you're screwed. But you know, you go to places, I've seen it here, but not too much, but in Cambodia you see it all the time. They'll take these big ass huge blocks of ice, and there's a dude out there with a fucking circular saw cutting the blocks of ice, and these huge blocks of ice are sitting on the pavement. They're literally sitting on the pavement of this nasty ass market. This dude goes to cutting on this block with a skill saw, and he'll take a big 20-pound block, put it on a fucking motorbike, and they'll zoom it over to a restaurant. And now they go chipping away. That's the fucking ice going in your drink. Number one, a lot of times it's made by local tap water. Not all. I mean, there's some ice factories that they filter it and it's okay. But if you're not careful, that ice is made from local tap water. And then they fucking threw that shit on the damn dirty ass pavement and went to cutting it with a skill saw. You know, and boom. You either picked it up from the ground, from the fucking sewage running on the ground, or you picked it up from the fact that it's not filtered water. When I talked to Spider, he said, "Man, I know when I got had," because he's careful. I said, "What happened?" He said, "We were at the spot. He went to get a beer. The fucking beer was lukewarm." And he said, "Hey, can you put that beer back on ice or back in the freezer?" Well, they didn't understand what the fuck he said, so what'd they do? They brought him out a fucking glass of ice and poured the beer over it. And I guess he'd already had a beer or two, and he's like, fuck it, went to drinking it. Boom, there you go. Okay, the damn ice and the beer got him. You have to be cognizant of that. All right, juice and tea, a lot of times are made by local tap water. And what Spider was saying, he said, man, you know, you go to these little continental breakfasts at these hotels in the morning, you go up and hit that little, you know, that little thing to get the fake cranberry juice and the fake fucking orange juice, right? Where's that water coming from? It's hooked up to the local fucking tap water. And if it is run through a filter, folks, filters cost money. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But even if you're at a place and they say, oh, you know, there's a filter on there, how often do you think they change those goddamn filters? Those filters cost money. You leave the West, everything is fucking, if it costs money, there's no shrinkage. Okay, stores over here, you know, Walmart have like $1,000 shrinkage a day, just basically waste. They just write it off. You leave the West, there's no shrinkage like that. Okay, if that filter needs to be changed in January, they're going to stretch it out to fucking November and then change it till the motherfucker falls apart. Why? It costs money. And a lot of places, you know, it's not money is respected a lot more, especially in places where it's not abundant. There's not a whole lot of waste. So that little thing with the juice, the fake cranberry juice, and fountain drinks in a convenience store, even if it runs through their little local filter on the back of that machine, I don't trust it. I drink it, but you know, Spider does not, because he's very cognizant of it. You got to be careful about that. So let me recap the obvious ones. The local tap water, the ice, anything that's been washed with the local tap water, anything to fucking do with it. Okay? So let me go into some more specifics here that the CDC is not going to tell you about directly or in a manner that you're going to fucking remember. Now, I just told you that the way this is transmitted is through contaminated poop, right? The fecal oral route, shit to mouth. You're getting it from water, from the guy not washing his hands, blah, blah, blah. Already covered that. How about this? Okay, you can get traveler's diarrhea by licking someone's asshole while you're having sexual intercourse. Boom! That's the fucking express route. That's the motherfucking bullet train. Bypass the water system. Bypass the fucking waiter who didn't wash his hands. Bypass the motherfucking carrots that they washed. Bypass the fucking shellfish and the undercooked food and the fucking water in your shower that gets in your mouth. It went straight from fucking poop to mouth. Okay? I'm not telling you not to do that. I'm not judging anybody. I'm just telling you that it is a route of transmission that you can pick up traveler's diarrhea if you're licking your partner's asshole during a sexual encounter. There you go. I call that the bullet train. All right? Certain. If they're contaminated, you're going to get what they got. Okay. You can get it by licking in the general vicinity of someone's asshole during sexual intercourse. You don't even have to lick direct on that fucking round brown. Straight on the booty hole. If you were within dingleberry range and you're looking around down there, there's a good chance you might pick up a morsel of fucking bacteria from a morsel of poop. So there you go. See, you didn't think about this shit. CDC not gonna tell you this shit. They don't know nothing about dingleberry range or goddamn bullet train. Say you're in a river taxi, or you're taking a like a tour like we took in Cambodia on the river over there. That's some of the nastiest fucking water you've ever seen in your life. When you're looking over the side, enjoying the sights, water splashes in your face, boom, there you go. It's that simple. One little fucking miniature droplet, microgram of water in your mouth, nose, eyes, folks, you can pick it up. So if you're on these river taxis or on these little fucking tours, you know, and if you're out on the open fucking ocean, well, maybe not. But if you're in Cambodia on one of those tours, if you're taking a river taxi up and down the rivers in Bangkok, it's highly contaminated. You don't want that water splashing in your face. You're gonna end up with the fucking shits. I kind of already inadvertently covered this one, but if you open your big fucking mouth while you're taking a shower, you're rinsing your fucking mouth out, well, boom, there you go, you're contaminated. Now look, you can get traveler's diarrhea in any country. Most industrialized areas like the West, they're considered low risk. And then, you know, you go up to, you know, the next tier of countries, and then the highest risk are, you know, Central America, Southeast Asia, you know, the tropics. Then you're in the high risk areas, right? But, you know, don't just think it's outside your home country. These bacteria, the viruses, they live everywhere. So again, if I went to Detroit, I would not drink the fucking tap water up there. They got so many fucking infrastructure problems up there. Hell no, I wouldn't drink the goddamn tap water in Detroit. I'd rather fucking drink from the goddamn canal or the damn river here close to my spot here in the Philippines before I went to Detroit and drank that shit. But it's pretty certain. You're from the West, you go to the tropics, you drink the water, boom. You're going to be in that 50% that fucking gets traveler's diarrhea. All right, so when I talked about, you know, expats and their respective countries, you know, the expats usually build up a tolerance. You know, the locals have a tolerance because they've been around these these antigens, these these bugs. I lost my word I'm coming up with. It starts with a P. Pathogens. They've been around these pathogens their whole life, so their bodies have evolved with it. I've spent enough time here that my body has evolved where I don't get sick from the basic stuff. But let me show you something to illustrate this about tolerance levels. Okay, here in the Philippines, everywhere I go, you will see kids, grown men, either fishing or swimming in these contaminated rivers of shit. Now, over in Olongapo, the sailors and the Marines used to call that river over there Shit River. And there'd be kids swimming in it. My buddy said, back in the day when they crossed the river, they would throw coins to the kids, and the kids would catch the coins, or they would dive down and get them. And my one buddy said, I can't remember your name. I have to look at my email. We talked several times. But he was saying when he first got here, young man back in the 80s, he felt really sorry for these kids. And somebody said, hey man, if you don't throw them the coins, they can't fucking buy rice for their families. Throw your fucking coins in there. They're already in the fucking water, give them some money. And you still see that, not because they're chasing coins these days, but because they're fishing or playing or whatever. And they're literally in slow-moving rivers of shit, cesspools. Their immune systems are impervious to it because they've fucking been swimming in that shit and bathing in it since they were infants. If you or I would jump off into some of these shit rivers here in the Philippines, we'd be fucking dead in a matter of days. I don't think we would make it. There's not enough antibiotics in the fucking pharmacy to save a couple white dudes swimming somewhere that the locals have been swimming their entire life and slowly built up these tolerances. So again, if you're going to a country you've never been to, if you're a first-time traveler, your immune system is about to go to war against some shit it never even knew existed. And that's just the way it is. Okay, is it contagious? Yes, traveler's diarrhea is contagious. Just illustrated that by what we just talked about. Some of the pathogens responsible, they can actually live outside the body on surfaces that you'd never think about for hours or even days. So every time you touch a handrail on an escalator, you touch a door handle walking into the hotel, you touch a faucet in a bathroom, money. Touch some money. A menu at a restaurant, a seatbelt on an airplane, the buttons on an elevator, the keypad or screen at an ATM machine, or if you open the door to a taxi, okay, you're potentially being exposed to these pathogens. So it's the same risk as if you just shook hands with a stranger who just wiped his ass and got up off the toilet. Now look, your skin is a great defense mechanism, right? As long as you don't have any cuts, your skin can basically fend off a lot of things. If you have a cut, well, then you just open yourself up. But if you touch these surfaces, and I know I'm being Captain Obvious, but a lot of people just don't think about this. You touch these surfaces, you hit a button on the elevator. 20 people touched that within the past hour. Okay, and then you go to sneeze or cough and you cover your face and you touch your mouth, your nose, your eyes, boom. Okay, you've just introduced that pathogen into your system. Now, yeah, you can carry, this alcohol gel like old Spider carries, but he can't bust that shit out. You can't touch the button but bust it out. Open the door, bust it out. No. So what do you have to do? You have to be cognizant. Don't touch my face. Okay, damn sure if you're a nail biter, don't be fucking biting your nails. You have to be cognizant. Don't touch my face. I don't need to be nail biting. I don't need to be putting my hands in and around or near any mucous membrane where these pathogens can be introduced to my body. All right, what's the symptoms? What's the symptoms of traveler's diarrhea? Now, again, if you go to the CDC website, I'm going to read you the common signs and symptoms, and then I'm going to go over some more detail. All right, so I said, what is traveler's diarrhea? Well, I said it's a bad case of the shits that just won't go away. It don't go away after a couple days, 3 days, 4 days. It's not a natural case of the runs because you ate a fucking big bean spicy burrito. So it's a bad case of the shits that just is not going away on its own. You're gonna have a fever, body aches and sweats, abdominal cramps, and you'll be shitting like a goose. If you shit more than 13 times per day, you probably got traveler's diarrhea. Okay, if you got a case of what's called the landmine shits. Now the landmine shits is when the second your ass cheeks touch the toilet seat, the toilet bowl, whatever, toilet seat, your asshole explodes. You know, it's one of those where you barely make it to the damn bathroom before you just blow it out. They call them the landmine shits. All right, dehydration. You know, if you're shitting so much that you're physically dehydrated, all right, it's probably not a normal case of the diarrhea. You got something going on. If you shit your pants, if you're a grown adult and you shit your pants, that's a pretty good indicator that you might be suffering from traveler's diarrhea. If you shit in the bed, that's an even better indicator. Okay, you wake up and you shit all over yourself, you may have traveler's diarrhea. If you have to shit less than 32 seconds after eating solid food, if it goes through you that quick, that's another indicator. If you're curled up in the fetal position from severe shit pains and can't leave the bathroom floor, that's not a normal case of diarrhea. There's something going on there. Just like my old lady curled up on the floor of our kitchen, could not get up. I mean, all she could do was put that phone call into me and she couldn't leave the fucking floor. I mean, she was in bad shape. And that Giardia, that's no joke. You need to catch it early. You need to start treating it. That shit can kill you. I mean, all this stuff can, but Giardia ain't nothing to play with. And that's what she had from the lake. If you end up having to use your socks to wipe your ass after an entire roll of toilet paper can't accomplish the mission, all right, maybe there's something more serious going on. All right, so say you're watching this video and you're in, I don't know where you're at. You're in Colombia, you're in fucking Cambodia, you're in a small island somewhere, and you've got the shits. And so what do we do these days, right? Whenever we get sick, what do? We go to Dr. fucking Google. Check Dr. Google. Type in all this shit and see what comes up. So you've never been to Mexico before. You're down there, and I don't even know where people go in Mexico these days. Let me just throw Cancun. I guess people are still going to Cancun. You're in Cancun. You had a great time for 3 days. You're 3 days into a 10-day trip, and you're sitting there and you feel like you're about to fucking die. So you check Dr. Google, and for some reason you landed on my video, and now you're listening to my words. Well, if you're in that condition, you're not going anywhere, so you might as well just follow through the rest of this video. But let me tell you what to do. Okay, how do you diagnose traveler's diarrhea? What to do? What do you do? Even if you're in Mexico and you're in some small town or wherever you're at, get over to the local hospital. It's that simple, all right? Bite the bullet, realize that you're going to have to pay a little bit of money, and head over to the local hospital. Okay, they're going to ask you for the stool sample, and they're going to draw blood. Now, if you're here in Southeast Asia, the bill is fucking pennies. Don't be scared to go to the hospital because of the bill. In America, certainly be scared. You go to the hospital, you're not getting out of that emergency room visit for no less than $3 grand. Now you're in debt for the rest of your fucking life. Folks, dentist went the other day and got a chest x-ray for like $8. So if you're in any of these places, don't worry about the cost. The cost is fucking pennies on the dollar in most places. So start out at the hospital, go in there and just tell them, you know, I think this is what I've got. I fucking been here 3 days. Tell them the story. They've seen it before. They're used to dealing with, you know, tourists every now and then. When I asked Spider's doctor, he said, yeah, I had about 5 or 6 cases in the past few months. Foreigners coming in here, same thing. Traveler's diarrhea. Okay, but the reason you want to go to the hospital, don't trust fucking Dr. Google. Okay, you may be having a fucking acute appendicitis and could fucking die. And you check Dr. Google and you listen to my fucking video and you convince yourself that it's just traveler's diarrhea, and 2 days later you're dead in the fucking hotel room. Don't be stupid. Okay, use this video as an educational tool and for entertainment. But if you got something going on, start by going to the fucking hospital. Don't wait till the next day and make an appointment. Go to the fucking emergency room. Simple. Let the hospital, no matter how rudimentary they may be, rule out something more severe, like an acute appendicitis or whatever they're going to tell you. Start there. All right, so we talked about the stool sample. And I'll go over the instructions here. I think I've already covered them, right? You know, when you go to the stool sample, shit in the fucking cup. Don't get any toilet water. Don't get any faucet water in there. You know, put the lid on tight, then wash it off and drop it off at the nurse's station, right? And again, before you go, if you're going to the hospital, the local hospital, take you a roll of shit paper from the fucking hotel, maybe a big bottle of water and a bar of soap. Put a bar of soap in your pocket, a roll of toilet paper. If you got access to some wet wipes, you know, go in there prepared to wipe your ass and clean up after yourself in case you find yourself in a bathroom. You know, same as Spider here in the Philippines. And folks, I'm not saying anything bad about that hospital. Yes, it's on them, but this is just the way things are done here. It's the way things are done in a lot of parts, a lot of places in the world. They just don't look at it like it's our responsibility to provide you with shit paper. That's your responsibility. You want shit paper? Go buy it and you wipe your ass with it. It's just a different way of doing things. So if you go to the hospital, you're sitting there in Mexico, laid up in the hotel room in Cancun right now, watching my video. Okay, pack you a bag with some shit paper, big old bottle of water, bar of soap, and head on down to the hospital. They're going to do a blood test if they have a lab. If you're on some little tiny island and you end up at a hospital that doesn't have a lab, I'll talk about that in a second, but they're going to want a blood test. Now, folks in other parts of the world, they may come out to draw blood and they're not wearing fucking rubber gloves. Welcome to the real world. Rubber gloves cost money. Not every hospital you go to, they're going to be wearing rubber gloves. That's just the way it is. Some people are going to be freaked the fuck out by that, by some guy using a needle to draw blood and he's not wearing gloves. Now, I will say that, you know, more and more hospitals are getting better. You know, it seems like, you know, in recent times, like the doctor, the nurse won't wear gloves, but the phlebotomist, the person who is going to draw blood, she will wear gloves. However, don't depend on that. So if you go in there, somebody comes in to draw blood, you know, from the West, we freak the fuck out. But it's just the way it is. You know, I went to get some blood tests one time a couple years back. The girl who drew blood wasn't wearing fucking rubber gloves. You know? So just throw that out there. And it's your health. You can decide, hey, you're not going to draw blood unless you're wearing gloves, whatever. But if they don't got fucking gloves in the damn clinic, what the fuck are you going to do? Yeah, they don't want an iPhone on the floor. All right, so you're going to draw blood. You're going to get the stool sample sent to the lab. It's going to come back. So they say, all right, you got traveler's diarrhea. What's next? Some type of antibiotic. Antibiotics are basically the definitive cure for most of this. If you're at any type of competent clinic, they're going to prescribe some type of antibiotic. Now, the type of antibiotic is going to depend on what they think you have, and also in what country you're in. Because if you're in this country, they're used to giving out this antibiotic. It's typically what they do. You go 2 countries over, they give you a different antibiotic because that's what they're used to doing. So just kind of familiarize yourself with some of the names. You know, doxycycline. Let's see, what do we got? Bactrim, Cipro, Afloxacin, Zithromax, and I just copied and pasted a list right there. But when you're in there, if you're sitting in your room, just familiarize yourself with what they prescribe locally. So when they throw that at you, you're like, okay, yeah, I've already read about that. I know here in Cancun, they're typically prescribed whatever. All right, get the antibiotic, take it as the doctor tells you. But here's where I throw you a curve. Don't trust the diagnosis and don't trust the antibiotic. Now, a lot of folks are going to hit me because I just said that, but when it comes to your health, you have to be sure. And I want to clarify and explain my statement so you don't think I'm just the fucking ugly American. All right, I'm far from it. I'm not a fucking elitist. This has nothing to do with me being an American saying that, only our healthcare system is right. I'm not saying that. Matter of fact, I haven't seen an American doctor in 10 fucking years. But what I'm doing, I'm here giving you the infrequent traveler, the first-time traveler, the guy down in Mexico curled up in the fetal position because he doesn't know what's going on. This video is for you. It's the guy or gal from Kansas. I want you to take their diagnosis and their prognosis and the antibiotics with a grain of salt and don't trust it. You probably have health insurance back in the West. I'm sure you do, some form or fashion. And so you go with what the locals tell you. If they just say, hey, you have this, they prescribe an antibiotic, that's pretty safe. As long as you're not allergic to antibiotics, get the antibiotic, take it as prescribed. Hopefully it solves the problem. But if you go back home to your home country and you have an insurance policy, an insurance plan, I want you to go get checked out again and tell the doctor exactly what happened, what they prescribed, and now let's start over. Let's trust but verify what the locals told you. If you're at a small hospital and they don't have a lab, the doctors are guessing. They're looking at your signs and symptoms and they're making an educated guess off of what's probable. But I'm going to submit to you that without lab results, they have no fucking idea what's going on with you. They're making a best guess, prognosis of what you probably have. They really can't go wrong by prescribing some antibiotics. But when you go home, I want you to go to your doctor and get checked out again. All right, so let me continue on with my thoughts on this, right? Everybody has their opinion. Everybody has their own experiences, their own opinion. But I've been all over Southeast Asia. If I'm in Thailand and I go to Bangkok Hospital, I trust them. Okay, in Thailand, I trust most of the pharmacies. I've never been sold any less than authentic medications in Thailand. I've never received any crazy fucking medical advice in Thailand. I trust Thailand. Now, I'm not saying there are not good hospitals in the Philippines, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying as a whole, my trust and my comfort level is in Thailand. I do not trust the hospitals pretty much anywhere else until they fucking prove to me that they're competent. Now that's my personal opinion. Yes, we had a baby here at a hospital in the Philippines. Everything was good to go. But I would single that one out as a go-to place. I'm not blanket. I'm not going to trust anymore because I've been in some hospitals here in Laos and Cambodia that is like stepping back in time 50 fucking years. So what I tell people is this: if you get sick in Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam, Myanmar, you need to make it to Thailand. You need to get to Thailand and then you're going to live. And that's just the way it is. You don't need to get all the way back to England. You need to get to Thailand. As long as you can make it to Thailand, you're going to live. And that's my personal opinion. So if I got sick in Siem Reap, I'd be on a fucking express to the Thai border. Just get me across the fucking border, get me to Thailand, and I'll take my chances there because I trust the system. Okay, so let's talk about it. You get sick on some small island. You go to their hospital. There's no lab. There's no advanced cardiac life support. It's basically a fucking first aid station. Yeah, they have a pharmacy. Yeah, the doctor can prescribe stuff, but you're basically going to a first aid station and the doctor is going off of the best knowledge that he has. Your signs and symptoms. He's not going off of lab tests. That's a very subjective, in other words, opinionated evaluation. You need some motherfucking no shit lab results that are objective, that don't lie. Alright, if you buy medication from a small pharmacy off the beaten path, don't trust it. Now, I'm not saying that the meds are fake. Although you should always have that in the back of your mind because there are counterfeit medications floating around in areas like Central America and Southeast Asia. You need to have that in your mind. But I'm not automatically saying that every pharmacy is going to sell you some fake shit. That's not what I'm saying. But I've already planted that seed in your mind, so mission accomplished. There are fake meds rolling around. That's possible, but what's more probable that you have to pay attention to is that, some of the drugs at some of these pharmacies may have been manufactured at a less than reputable pharmaceutical company in China. They got them cheap to try to make a bigger spread. Maybe the meds are expired. They're not going to fucking get rid of them. They're going to try to skew the expiration date because there's no shrinkage here. It's money. Or they haven't been stored properly. This is the tropics. Okay, it's fucking hot here most of the time. There's some meds, even if they have a 3-year shelf life and they've been stored in the goddamn fucking sunlight beating down every day, they end up being combat ineffective. They don't work. And maybe there's no malicious intent. It's just that they sell them to you and for whatever reason they don't work. So I don't trust them. And I'll tell you a story in a little bit. Let me just tell it right now because this has pertinence about why you should start out at the hospital. Folks, in a lot of countries, you cannot walk into the pharmacy and just buy antibiotics. Now, here in the Philippines, you used to be able to, but now they're strict about it. You have to have a doctor's prescription to buy antibiotics. So it was late one night and I needed some antibiotics. And folks, there's no bullshit on my channel. So I caught the clap. I knew I had to clap. It was late at night. I didn't want to wait till the next day. I went on the hunt for some fucking antibiotics. I can't remember how many pharmacies I went to, but I went to fucking several. Nobody would sell me the antibiotics. The last pharmacy I went to, it was late at night, it was kind of secluded, and the girl sold them to me. She sold me some doxycycline tablets. I took them, and folks, I've taken enough doxies in my day, I know what doxies do to my body. It did nothing. Usually they upset my stomach. I mean, I know the feeling, I know how they burn. These doxies were fucking dead. They did nothing for me. Luckily, a couple days later, I was back in Bangkok. I fucking went straight to the pharmacy in the airport, got the doxies, popped one right there in front of the pharmacist. And boom, it went to work. Went to work on the problem. And I knew that that was real because I know what doxies do to my system. I know. I'm a fucking, you know, I'm highly experienced in taking doxycycline tablets. But the moral of the story was I spent all night bebopping to pharmacies because I didn't have a prescription, and the one that sold it to me sold me some fucking shit that was ineffective. So you have to start out at the hospital because a lot of these countries are following suit with the West. You have to have a prescription. That's another reason you might as well start there. Get the fucking prescription and then boom, go buy it at the most reputable place you can buy it from. Okay, but again, don't trust their diagnosis, don't trust the meds, and if you're going flying back to fucking wherever, you know, the US, the UK, Sweden, wherever you're going back to, go to your doctor and your healthcare system. Get evaluated again and make sure you don't have some exotic fucking tapeworm, you know, 80 feet long growing in your fucking small intestines. And again, you know those cases are rare, but why take the chance? That's what you pay for health insurance for back in your home country. Okay, so treatment number one. You go to the hospital, treatment number one, they're gonna prescribe some antibiotics. Number two, they're gonna tell you to hydrate. And they told Spider to drink that Pocari Sweat, whatever. They actually wrote it on their prescription. It was funny. I mean, whatever. Personally, the way I hydrate when, you know, my asshole is doubling as a fucking water hose, I can't stop it. I drink a Gatorade and then a beer. That's what I do. But the doc here told him to drink Pocari Sweat, whatever it's called. All right, Pepto-Bismol and Imodium, they may prescribe that, but folks, understand that Pepto-Bismol and Imodium they're not dealing with the underlying problem. And my analogy is, it's like giving somebody an aspirin for a headache caused by meningitis. Okay, all you're doing is trying to mask the symptoms. You're not dealing with meningitis. Pepto-Bismol and Imodium are not fucking combat effective against the bacteria, the virus, and the protozoa causing havoc in your system. Now, you know, if you come home one night from eating Mexican food and drinking margaritas, by all means, get some Pepto-Bismol and Imodium. It'll make your tummy feel better. But Pepto-Bismol and Imodium are not going to fucking win a battle against any of these, you know, these pathogens that are wreaking havoc on your immune system. So I don't waste my fucking time on Pepto-Bismol and fucking Imodium. That's just to make your tummy feel better. That's all it is. Okay, so there you go. Antibiotics, hydrate, and then when you get back home, follow up with your normal doctor. Now, folks, my camera's beeping here because I think I'm about to run out of storage space. So I'm going to take a break and I'll be right back with you. That fucking remote. All right, folks. All right, where were we? You know, check my microphone here. I think I'm good. Audio levels look good. Let me just say a word about everybody knows I love these Yeti cups that my mom sent me. Big shout out to my mom. How you doing? Hope you had a good day. And thanks again for sending me these Yeti cups. Excuse me. Folks, a big thing about having one of these Yeti cups here in the tropical climate is that number one, they keep the shit cold. But number two, they don't sweat. So, I pick up a normal glass, I sweat all over the iPad, the damn camera, the audio equipment. But since my mom sent these Yeti cups, I can sit here and drink while I'm working, while I'm on the laptop, while I'm talking to a camera, and I'm not dripping fucking sweat, condensation everywhere. So these Yetis, if you're in the tropics, you gotta have a Yeti. They're not paying me to say that. I mean, you can get a fucking something like a Yeti. My point is, if I'm holding a regular glass, it's just sweat and water everywhere because of the humidity all over my electronic equipment. So that's all I drink out of is Yeti these days. All right, where were we? All right, the prevention of travelers' diarrhea. Now, folks, this is the important part. I mean, the best way to deal with a lot of things, a lot of negative things, is to not deal with them in the first place, right? Not have to deal with them. So prevention is the name of the game here. And these are some things you can do, to minimize your risk of getting travelers' diarrhea, getting a bad case of the shits, while you're on vacation. All right, number one, don't do stupid shit while traveling. Okay? There you go, right there. Just don't do incredibly stupid shit that's basically going to seal your fate to pick up something, and then it's going to ruin the rest of your fucking vacation. For example, if you get drunk and you let somebody talk you into eating a fucking big old raw chunk of warm asshole from a goddamn water buffalo that the locals just killed, well, you fucking deserve to get a case of the ruins. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, stupid shit. Again, I think who this video is important to is the first time traveler, the infrequent traveler, the guy or gal who is not, a seasoned world traveler. Your stomach is not going to be able to handle what the locals can handle. Your immune system doesn't have the same tolerance that the locals have. So if they go over there and kill a water buffalo, and rip out, or a fucking cow, and they rip out a raw piece of meat and want you to eat it, you gotta weigh it. You gotta weigh, the situation, the moment. You don't want to offend anybody, obviously, but if you know that you're prone to getting sick, if you fucking get sick when you go to the goddamn local Mexican restaurant back in your hometown in Kansas, don't eat that fucking steaming goddamn slice of buffalo asshole. You're gonna get sick. Don't eat that fucking kidney or that heart or whatever the fuck they pull out, or just a raw slice of meat. That's stupid. You're gonna get sick. You're gonna ruin your fucking vacation on day 3, just like Spider was talking about. So here in the Philippines, there's a thing called balut. And what it is, it's a baby duck egg. It's a duck egg, and they incubate it for various amounts of time. Now, The one that I ate, it was an 18-day. It had been incubating for 18 days. Now, for reference, the damn things hatch at like 28 days. They stop the incubation, they boil it, they serve it up. Now, when you pop the top on this jackass, I don't know why that term come to mind. I've been drinking, but when you pop the top on that below it, you're looking down at a fucking a duck fetus. They call that the CCO. Now, the ladies won't eat the actual baby duck. They eat the rest of it. You know, the yolk, the rest of it that resembles a fucking hard-boiled egg. But if you're a male, you just take that motherfucker in 3 bites. Chomp, chomp, chomp. Well, the first bite, you're looking at a fucking beak and a head and eyes. You eat that motherfucker, then you're looking at goddamn feathers, and you eat that shit, and then the last bite, I guess you're eating the damn feet. Now, I'm not saying that will necessarily get you sick. It is boiled. But what if it's not boiled enough or boiled properly? Now your ass is eating an 18-day duck embryo and every other piece of fucking bacteria that's in there. You don't think you're not going to get sick? Why take the chance? If I save my money for an entire year so I could spend 2 weeks vacation and I got $2,000-$3,000 invested, I'm gonna have fun, but I'm not gonna do something stupid that there's a 98% chance it's gonna fuck up the rest of my vacation, especially if I've got a sensitive stomach, especially if I'm prone to getting sick all the time. And that's just a perfect example of doing stupid shit. Now, if you got a stomach of fucking iron and you can eat pretty much anything, well, by all means, fucking chow down on the balut. But if you got a sensitive stomach, don't fucking touch that shit. Just politely decline, you know? If you really want to try some of the local delicacies, why not wait till the end of your trip? That way, if you fucking get sick on the plane going back, all right, no problem. You're back at home. You can fucking sit on the shitter, call in sick, extend your vacation, and recover from the comfort of your own house and your shitter. But these are things to think about. Now, I did something stupid in Guatemala, and it put a hurting on me. It's about 10 years ago, somewhere around there. In Guatemala, and me and the J-Dog went to this little local restaurant. You know, when you pick out local restaurants, I mean, if the locals are eating there, and there's a lot of locals eating there, it's probably pretty safe for you to eat there. Especially if there's a lot of locals. The food, it's a turnover. It's like any restaurant. You don't want to go to a restaurant where there's no people. You don't know how long they've kept that food in the fucking freezer. They're trying to make a profit. Go to a restaurant that's popular. They're turning over customers. They're turning over their stock. And you should be okay. We go to this restaurant, a little small restaurant, and order some tacos. I can't remember what it was. But off to the right, there were these 3 vats. And when I say vats, I mean they were like 8 inches in diameter, or they were probably 12 inches tall. And they were dips, different types of dips. And so you're talking shit, probably at least 1 gallon, 2 gallons worth of dip in each one of these vats. You know, cylindrical shaped vat. And J-Dog takes a look over there, and he's like, oh shit, dude, that shit, oh hell no. Dude, that shit ain't safe, man. That shit's been sitting there for days. Don't touch that shit. That shit's fucking poison. I mean, he went on and on. So I went over there, and of course, I really like fucking dip. I like to try new dips. And there was one that looked sort of like a cheese dip, and the other 2 were different. like the dip you get, tomato, onion type, and there was one more I can't remember. But I remember the one with like the cheese type sauce. On the top, it had about a 1-inch congealed, just glob of goop on top. And the whole time, the J-Dog is protesting, man, don't eat that shit. Dude, you're gonna get sick. Don't, man, that shit. I'd had a couple beers. I'm like, fuck it, man. So I took that spoon, I scraped back that 1-inch layer of congealed nastiness, and there's flies around this motherfucker. And I scoop way down in the bottom, come up with a scoop full of this cheese, and I don't even know what, it was cheese sauce like substance. Maybe it was goat cheese, I don't fucking know. I poured that shit all over my tacos, my plate. I scooped down in the bottom of the others. I'm like, I pull from the bottom, Now folks, within 48 hours, I was fucked up. Typical traveler's diarrhea. I was fucked up. I couldn't leave the shitter. Every time I ripped a fart, it fumigated this entire little small hotel we were in. It was fucking horrible. It was fucking miserable. I was miserable. Everybody around me was miserable. Those 3 vats of dip, which they had to have been sitting out there. They were sitting there all day. They were probably left over from 2 or 3 days ago when they made them. There's no telling what was growing in that shit. And looking back, okay, I violated the principle that I just told you. I said, go places where the locals are, where the food is turning over, right? Well, when I stepped up to the plate with that dip, I should have known that since there was an inch layer of fucking congealed fucking mush nastiness, it should have told me, hey man, the locals aren't eating this shit. If the locals were eating it, it wouldn't have been full. They were mostly full. If the locals are eating it, number one, it wouldn't have been full. Number two, there wouldn't have been that big congealed fucking days old crust, like the Earth's motherfucking mantle on top of this shit. But again, I was drinking fucking Gallo beer. It didn't really matter at the time to me too much. I should have listened to the J-Dog. He was right. And so that shit fucked me up. And it fucked me up to the point that when I got back to California, I couldn't shake it. And I've never been in that situation before. I usually don't get sick. Couldn't shake it. I ended up at the emergency room. And basically what I've described. Blood test, stool sample, and comes back, you've got, I don't remember exactly what I had, but I had a fucking gamut of shit going on. And I was kind of scared. I was kind of concerned because I'm like, it's what the fuck, is something going on? I thought it was something worse, like a tapeworm, these nightmare stories, and it wasn't. They hooked me up with some antibiotics, I think an injection, and within a few days I was good to go, learned a lesson. And so that's what I'm talking about, stupid shit, stupid unnecessary shit while traveling that will, fuck up your vacation. So if you really want to try the balut, just fucking wait till the last day. Try the fucking balut. And if you get a case of the shit, you're back home. That's what I would do. That's what I'll do now. If anything's questionable, it's really going to fuck me up, I'll just fucking wait till the last day. And then I'll go on a fucking sampling trip. And if it hits me on the fucking plane, well, fucking so be it. This is Captain Obvious, but this is the part that you really need to pay attention to, because this is the prevention. It's taking basic precautions that a lot of times you just don't think about, right? But it's basic. I've already talked about don't drink the local tap water, don't brush your teeth, don't trust ice, don't let anybody put ice in your fucking glass. Ice means tap water. Be wary of juice, especially from those little juice machines at the little breakfast in the morning at the hotels. Smoothies and frozen drinks, they contain ice. All right, same drill. Okay, don't trust or buy water from a guy walking in and out of traffic. Okay, I don't care if there's no air conditioning in your taxi. It's 110 degrees out. It's dusty. You know, you haven't had anything to drink in fucking 2 hours of trying to get through this traffic in Mumbai, Manila, wherever the hell you're at. Traffic's at a standstill. Here comes a dude walking in and out of traffic selling bottles of water. Maybe your driver buys one. I'm going to advise you to never buy bottled water from that guy walking in and out of traffic. And this is erring on the safe side. Why? A lot of these guys walking in and out of traffic are homeless. They're living on the streets. They're doing whatever, anything and everything they can to survive. Okay, you don't think they won't take a bottle of water, fill that shit up with tap water and screw the thing back on there tight, or maybe even put a couple drops of super glue? Folks, they're in survival mode. That's why they're walking in and out of traffic in 100-fucking-degree weather. You really want to trust that bottle of water? That's up to you, but I'm not going to. My heart goes out to them. I appreciate their hustle. I'm not fucking buying water from the guy walking in and out of traffic in any fucking country. If I go to New York City, I'm not buying fucking water from a dude walking in and out of traffic. Fuck that. Why am I going to take a risk with my life? You know, it's not happening. So the possibilities, I'm not even going to say probability, but possibility, fills it up with tap water, puts the fucking lid on, the lid back on it, right? This applies to some little small shady ass store. If you're buying water there, it's the only place available. You better inspect the fuck out of that water bottle and make sure they didn't glue that shit back down. Look at that water. Just make sure it's crystal clear, or don't buy it from there. Buy it from a reputable, a bigger store. But be wary, just because you're buying bottled water, question, is that fucking straight up bottled water, or is it a fucking recycled plastic bottle this fucking dude dug out of the trash can because he's trying to hustle? Okay. I think one of the biggest reasons I don't get sick while traveling, because I drink beer. You want a precaution? Drink fucking beer. You got risk in juice, drinks with ice, mixed drinks, smoothies, all this shit, right? Bottled water being fucking refilled with tap water. Drink fucking beer. There's little to no risk in drinking beer as long as it's a fucking authentic beer. Okay? Now, if you want to split hairs, say you have a can, a bottle, or a draft. If you go with the draft, maybe there's fucking bacteria growing in that fucking tap. They haven't cleaned it properly. It's not the beer itself, but maybe it's the equipment. If you order a bottle, a lot of times in these border towns, these shady ass little areas, they'll bring the bottle to your table and they'll open it right in front of you, just to show you that, hey, you know, there's no shenanigans going on, right? But how many times have I been in a bar where the waitress brought the guy the wrong beer, and he's like, no, that's a Heineken. I ordered a fucking San Mig. What do you think they're gonna do with that Heineken? You think they're just gonna fucking pour that out and lose that 50 pesos? Hell no. There's no fucking shrinkage here. Somebody's gonna pay for that. The waitress, if she made a mistake, she's gonna fucking pay for that. She's gonna eat that money. So you know what happens to the fucking beer in a lot of places? That cap goes right back on that fucking beer. It goes right back into the fucking cooler. And the next guy that orders it, they're going to pop that top right in front of him. He's not going to know the difference that fucking cap was open for 15 minutes while they're sitting there arguing over, you know, what the guy fucking really ordered. So if I'm in the shadiest of the shadiest of the shadiest of fucking places, give me a beer in a fucking can. That's hard to fucking fake. When you open a beer in a can, it's hard to fucking fake that and make that tin go back. They're not going to do it. So you want to really split hairs. You want to keep from getting sick off the fucking water. The bottled water that might be fucking, not legitimate. Fucking drink beer. That's exactly what I do. That's why I rarely get sick, because of waterborne illnesses. I'm fucking drinking beer. If I can get it from a can, I know there's nothing to worry about. All right. You see how this shit works? CDC ain't gonna tell you to fucking drink beer from a can. They don't fucking know about this shit. They never even thought about this. Fucking educating the goddamn CDC. Even if a waitress brings a bottle to your table and pops the top, you don't know that she didn't just put fucking, 1,000 milligrams of fucking ketamine in there. Put the cap back on the bottle, you just go bloop. It looks like it was never open. You try that shit with a can. That's right. You ain't falling for no bananas in the tailpipe. Okay, look. Only eat food that's cooked. We've already covered this. Okay, raw vegetables, yeah, healthy and delicious, but you're taking a chance. The same thing, especially lettuce, salad bars. Look, I love a good salad bar. You don't see them much over here in this region, but if I do see a salad bar, I'm going to tear that motherfucker up, because I just don't see them that often. Lettuce here in the Philippines is expensive. At least in my experience, it is. And it's just, back in the States, I was eating lettuce salads all the time. Here, it's very infrequent. So if I'm staying at a hotel, they have this little salad bar at the breakfast in the morning, I tear it up. But you, the infrequent traveler, or who have never traveled before, you're looking at a lot of tap water that washed everything from the lettuce to the carrots to everything that's on that salad bar. So eat vegetables that are cooked. Eat fruits that you personally peel or you watch them peel. Because if it's on the salad bar, they've been cut, they've been washed, boom. You're right back to square one. They got tap water on them. Wash your hands frequently. Carry that little alcohol gel stuff like Spider totes around. Okay, if you open one door out in the public, it's like you just shook hands with 30 people who didn't wash their hands with soap after taking a shit. You don't believe me? Go to a public restroom in this country. Well, in a lot of countries, but I just happen to be in the Philippines. Go to a public restroom, show me a fucking bar of soap. Don't worry, I'll wait. And most, you ain't gonna fucking find no soap in there. You might see a soap dispenser, but that some bitch ain't had soap in it since it was put in. Most places, there's no fucking soap. So even if a dude wants to wash his hands, he's not washing his hands with soap. Now he's touching the fucking door to 7-Eleven. Now you're touching the door. Wash your hands frequently and keep them out of your face. Damn sure, if you're a nail biter, you got a habit of biting your fucking nails. You don't do that shit. Don't do that shit when you're in the tropics or Central America, spots like that. Don't be biting your fucking nails. If you're riding on a riverboat, we've talked about this. Don't get water in your face, in your mouth. Sit inboard. Yeah, the outboard is better for viewing and photography, taking Facebook photos. But if you're sitting outboard, along the edge of the boat where you can see things, you're going to be more likely to get water splashed in your face. How do you mitigate that? You sit inboard. You sit up top, you sit inboard, whatever, so you don't get the water spray from the contaminated water in the river. Filtered water does not always mean safe drinking water. The filters used at these little refilling stations, folks, again, they cost money. And a lot of places, it's easier to just pay off the inspector than it is to go buy these new filters, right? So the filters are supposed to last 3 months. They might run these motherfuckers for a year. So even the filtered water is not up to standard. I'm not saying everybody, but you know, if you've got a choice of, you know, putting money in your pocket and buying rice this month or changing out the filters when they're supposed to be changed, what do you think people are going to do? So filtered water doesn't always mean safe drinking water. You got to be wary of that as well. All right, back to, you know, you're traveling, you're drinking, you're having a good time, especially if you're single. You know, when you're traveling, hell, you're trying to get laid like anybody else, whether you're a man or a woman. All right, if you're traveling, I mean, this is just general fucking great advice. Goddamn, make sure you wear a condom. Make sure you wear a condom. And maybe you want to abstain from oral sex. Now, yeah, I can't believe I'm giving that fucking advice, right? This is one of those where just do as I say, don't do as I do. But the topic of this video is about traveler's diarrhea. So I'm on point about telling you how to avoid it, right? That's the topic of the video. Traveler's diarrhea, everything about it, and how not to get it. So, you know, if you're gonna, you know, sleep with some strange fucking ladies or dudes or whoever, you might want to go ahead and wear a condom, especially if you're on off the beaten path in the tropics. And you know, if you like to lick fucking assholes, well, by all means drive on, but realize, you know, you may be getting that bullet train to traveler's diarrhea, the oral fecal express route. So be careful when licking them booty holes. All right, don't carry on a conversation with your significant other when you're taking a shower. You know, if they're fucking sitting there shaving and you're in the shower, don't be talking back and forth about what you're gonna eat for fucking breakfast, because water is just running in your mouth. You might as well just lay back and fucking let the damn shower head, you know, fucking do the old water pick treatment on your teeth. Get in the shower, close your fucking mouth, take a shower, and limit the amount of fucking shower water that you end up in your mouth. All right, take a shower, shut the fuck up. You can talk when you get out and get your shit dried off. All right, focus on what you got going on, the task at hand. All right, these basic precautions that I just talked about, and there's several more, but those are the basic things that I can think of right offhand. Are they 100% guaranteed to prevent you from becoming that 25 to 50% of international travelers who get sick from, you know, with traveler's diarrhea? Well, no. Nothing's 100%, but if you implement all those and are careful, I would say they at least decrease your chances by 80%. They have to. Okay, little stupid shit. Again, don't forget, a spider got had because he fucked around and let him put ice in his goddamn beer. Okay, it's a rookie fucking mistake, but after you've had a few beers, you will make rookie mistakes. Now this one here, before you leave, talk to your doctor about preventive or prophylactic medication. Now, I'm not here giving advice, and I don't take any medication on a daily basis. I don't take anything preventatively, prophylactically. But talk to your doctor in your home country, tell them where you're going, tell them how long you're going to be gone, and see if they want to prescribe anything preventative. And maybe they don't, maybe they're totally against this. But when I went to Afghanistan, everybody from the US who went to Afghanistan had to get a prescription for doxycycline. And I think you were required to have 365 of those motherfuckers when you left. You were supposed to take one 100 milligram tablet per day for 30 days before you went there, one a day every day you were there, and then one a day for 30 days after you left and weren't coming back. And it was anti-malarial because malaria was a possibility there. Now, I started taking it, but the doxies just made my stomach feel queasy, and so I stopped taking it. I just said, fuck it, I'm not taking this shit. But there were like a dozen people on the fob that I was on that ended up with malaria, and when they got to the bottom of it, every one of them had done the same shit that I did. They just quit taking their doxies. Now, I guess I got lucky, what have you. But those folks, they end up catching it because they didn't take the anti-malarial regime, which was one doxy a day. So talk to your doctor about that. Depending on where you're going, maybe he says, yeah, there's malaria in that region, and I am gonna prescribe doxy one a day, or maybe he's got some more immunizations that he recommends you take. So if you're on doxy, one doxy a day as an anti-malarial agent, it's also going to knock out most forms of traveler's diarrhea, I would say. Not the viral, but the bacterial is definitely going to help you out. So just talk to your doctor about that, see what they say. And this is one of those that I don't exercise that, but I was introduced to it when I went to Afghanistan. I was supposed to take one doxy a day for the malaria threat, but I just didn't do it. Okay, so no matter what your doctor says, and go over this part with them as well, but I recommend if you're traveling off the beaten path, especially if you're island hopping, you need to arm yourself with some emergency medications. Okay? So I'm going to tell you what I'm armed with at all times. I don't fuck around anymore. Anytime I throw a backpack on, I guarantee you my emergency medication kit is in that backpack. It's like a fucking American Express card. I don't leave home without it. I'm armed at all times with no less than 30 tablets of doxycycline, 100 milligram tabs. I don't go anywhere without at least 30. And I'm armed with at least one Z-Pack. Now the Z-Pack has 6 tablets. They're 250 milligram tabs. It's a Z-Pack is short for Zithromax. It's a zithromycin. So everywhere I go, I'm rocking doxies and Zithro. I don't go any fucking where off the beaten path. Matter of fact, I don't travel anywhere without that. That is my lifeline, my backup plan. It's my first aid kit for world travel. I don't carry fucking Band-Aids. I don't carry fucking aspirin or Tylenol, paracetamol, little things of gauze, Dramamine, motions. I don't carry none of that fucking bullshit. That's all just fucking... That's just pussy shit anyhow. Alright, if you want to carry it to make yourself feel better, that's fine. I'm not going to call you a pussy, but that's pussy ass shit. Okay? If I get fucking stranded on a goddamn deserted tropical island after a plane crash like old Tom Hanks, give me one fucking item. That's my emergency medication kit, which consists of doxycycline and Zithromax. You can keep your fucking Swiss Army knife, your goddamn signaling mirror, your fire starter, what else? Your fucking paracord bracelet. Okay, you can keep all that shit. As long as I'm armed with 30 fucking doxycycline and a Z-Pack, I promise you I will live longer than you. I don't need no fishing line, no fucking fishing hooks. I'll figure that shit out. But if I've got those two meds, I'm gonna live longer than you. If they ever let me on that show called Alone, which they won't, but if I ever show up, if you're ever on the show Alone and I show up there as a contestant, you might as well quit right then. Just to let y'all know, that money's mine. I'm sitting there thinking, you're gonna put me out somewhere alone, and all I gotta do is fucking hang out until everybody else quits, and I get $500,000. Every motherfucker there might as well just quit and save themselves the misery. And I don't even need all them fucking items. Just let me take my fucking emergency medication. I'll live there till the goddamn cows come home. That money is mine. You might as well fucking quit. They'll never let me on that show though. That medication I just told you about, that shit will cure anything from traveler's diarrhea to a fucking respiratory infection, a fucking chlamydia. It'll cure a fucking skin infection. You cut your fucking toe wide open, it's getting infected, it'll fucking straighten that shit out too. Alright, so you think that might be overkill or irresponsible because I carry around, my own self medication, my self-treatment protocol? Well, look, if you always have access to a hospital, well, yeah, there's no need to do that. If you live in goddamn Atlanta, Georgia, you don't need to carry this shit around. If you get sick, you drive fucking 3 blocks to the damn hospital. Or you're really sick, you call 911, a fucking ambulance scoops you up. But if you do not have access to a hospital or to a doctor or no, some type of competent medical care, that fucking Doxy and that Zithromax could literally save your fucking life. That's why I don't fucking go nowhere. So let me give you for a fucking example, alright? What if you're on a fucking island in the Philippines and a typhoon blows through? A small island, I guess, small little hospital. Boom, here comes a typhoon through. You get caught on that island. Guess what's going to happen? Number one, the ferry service stops running when the sea conditions get too dangerous. So days before the typhoon and potentially many days after the fucking typhoon, the ferry ain't coming. That's the lifeline to some of these small islands. That's anywhere in the world. If the fucking airport, the little airstrip gets flooded out, ain't no motherfucking airplanes coming in there. Okay, so guess what happens? There's no fuel coming in. The fuel trucks aren't coming. The generators go down. Guess what? Now the water pumps don't work. Now when you turn on the fucking tap, there ain't no fucking water. Now you can't flush the goddamn toilet without going out and scooping up some seawater. All of a sudden, your wonderful fucking just great little island vacation can turn into a fucking nightmare. Now usually, things get back to normal pretty quick, but what if you're on this fucking island, typhoon rolls through, the water stops working, and within a matter of a couple days you end up drinking some water from whoever's water tank, and you fucking get traveler's diarrhea. Where are you gonna go? Okay, where are you gonna go? Who's gonna fucking treat you? The fucking hospital got wiped out. There's no electricity. What are you gonna do? Just fucking sit there and be miserable? The embassy is not coming to fucking rescue your ass. You gotta have your own fucking backup plan. And for me, the definitive emergency plan is to have some antibiotics on hand. Forget about the aspirin, all the other pussy ass shit. That's not helping you, alright? That's not gonna save you. Okay, so when I talked about talking with your doctor back in your home country, When you're out off the beaten path, you don't want to be trying to find medication. You don't want to be in Cebu City with no prescription looking around trying to find doxies. Okay? Get a prescription from your doctor in your home country. That way when you come through immigration and customs, if they question you about the tablets, you have the prescription. It's no problem. If you fucking get sick, you know that those meds are legit. The doctor has prescribed it. You know you're not allergic to it. You be proactive, just planning for the worst to happen. Hopefully it never does, but you don't want to be reacting to shit like this that I'm talking about. It's too easy to be proactive. So my emergency self-treatment protocol. If I'm off the beaten path, if I'm stranded on an island, if I'm up in the mountains of Afghanistan and I get sick, I can't get nowhere because of, the fucking weather, the pass is closed, it's in the winter, or some assholes have fucking taken over the road and we can't pass. What's my treatment protocol? Now, before I tell you this, let me back up for a minute. When I said that the embassy is not coming to save you, if you're from America, you remember a thing called Hurricane Katrina. People needed help in a major fucking city in the U.S., and the U.S. government couldn't rescue those folks down there. Okay? They're just down there fucking fending for themselves for fucking days, weeks, however long it was. So you think just because one fucking gringo is stranded somewhere that they're sending a goddamn Black Hawk to pick you up? That's not happening. Don't rely on the fucking embassy to help you for anything. That's my advice to you. I think a lot of people, a lot of expats, a lot of world travelers, they'll back me up on that. The embassy ain't fucking helping your ass. You gotta help yourself. A lot of places there ain't no motherfucking 911. Okay, so have a little fucking plan in place. Alright, again, the legal cheese, I'm not telling you to do this, I'm telling you this is what I do. Take this for informational, research, and entertainment purposes only. Okay? I don't abuse antibiotics. I fully understand the ramifications of their overuse. So anybody in the comments, you can spare me the fucking lecture about drug-resistant bacteria, antibiotic resistance in general. I already know this. I don't fucking pop these things like Skittles unless I have to. I don't take any fucking drugs. Only drug I take is fucking alcohol. That's a daily drug, but I don't take any pharmaceuticals unless it's the last fucking option and the definitive treatment for what I have going on. Okay? So I'm not being irresponsible when I tell you what I do. If I have a minor problem and I have no access, say I have traveler's diarrhea, 3-4 days, it doesn't go away. I know it's not going away. It's not getting any better. I usually just pop one doxy, 100 milligrams per day, 3-4 days. That's all it takes. It just clears the shit up. I'm fine. That's all it needs. And when I'm off the beaten path, if something like that happens, you want to use the least amount that you need, because what happens in 3 days if you cut your foot wide open and you really need those doxies, you really need those antibiotics, so you use everything sparingly. But 3-4 days, 100 milligrams of doxy knocks out most traveler's diarrhea I've ever had. If I have a major problem or exposure, okay, for example, I ate some food and I found out a lot of people are getting sick, it's fucking food poisoning, it's going to hit me hard, or if, I drank some severely contaminated water, or the frequent traveler, I caught the clap after a fucking, a week's worth of partying and hanging out with less than reputable ladies of the night. Shit happens. You sleep with enough women, you will catch the clap, I promise you. You can try to be careful, but at some point you're gonna catch the clap. Okay? Gonorrhea, syphilis, HIV, all that shit is possible, but the most probable thing is chlamydia. Now people will argue, oh, gonorrhea is called the clap. Well, not in my fucking circle. We call chlamydia the fucking clap. And it's fucking easy to get if you sleep around, no matter what country you're in. You go pull 10 girls out of the club in America, you're gonna catch the clap if you don't wear a condom. It's that simple. Even if you wear a condom, you might get it. So, if I know 100% I've been exposed and the definitive treatment is going to be antibiotics, you got to bust out the big guns. You got to call up the fucking Z-Pack and fire for effect. And take 4 of them bad boys. Take 4 of the Z-Pack tablets. Now it comes in, most of the time it comes with 6 tablets. You take 4 of those Z-Packs, boom, down the hatch, wash them down with a cold beer. I usually go with a Heineken or a Singhai. Why do I wash them down with a beer? Now, you shouldn't take a whole lot of alcohol with antibiotics because it can have an effect, but beer's never fucking had any, beer's never caused me a problem. Now, if you drink a bottle of vodka, it may counteract the antibiotics. But I wash my shit down with a beer because it helps the psychological effects of whatever stupid shit I've done to put myself in that predicament. I caught the clap because I got drunk and slept with some fucking crazy bitches, right? Boom. Now I find myself having to pop a Z-Pack. Well, I'm washing it down with a beer. That's my psychological, it's the way I deal with it psychologically. 24 hours later, after taking those 4 initial tablets, you pop the last 2. Wash that shit down with a fucking cold beer. 24 hours after that, you start 1 doxycycline, 100 milligram tablet per day, and run that for 10 days. After that, pretty much anything that you've got, from chlamydia to traveler's diarrhea to, a respiratory infection, folks, you are fucking cleared out. Now, speaking of cleared out, when you hit that Z-Pack, okay, say you have an infection in your fucking hand, severe infection in your hand, and you hit that Z-Pack, it's going to make you shit like a fucking goose. Okay, and I guess what it does, not only does it kill the bad bacteria, but it's going to kill some of the good bacteria too, and it'll make you shit like a fucking goose just taking that medication in itself. So just be ready for that ride. So that's what I call a king's cure. When you bust out the Z-Pack and then hit the doxies. But sometimes it comes to that. Now, I'm telling you, that's my treatment regime. That's what I do to my body, and that's what works for me. If you try that shit without consulting your doctor, it may kill you. I don't fucking know what it'll do to you. So I'm telling you, consult your doctor. Don't go with what Dr. Google or Dr. Marco says. It's your health. You take it seriously. What I just told you is for research, entertainment, and giving you food for thought to discuss with your licensed medical practitioner, also known as your fucking doctor. Okay, so for all my infrequent travelers or my first time international travelers, after your vacation, this is what I recommend you do, okay? Now, I'm a constant traveler. I'm an expat by definition. I consider myself a current resident of planet Earth and a citizen of nowhere. That's just how I consider myself. We can talk about immigration and countries and lines, on a map later. I don't have a fucking home. Wherever I'm at, that's just where I'm at. People say, where are you from? I don't even fucking know. I don't have a home. I'm not from anywhere. I currently reside on planet Earth. If I had a one-way ticket to Mars, I'd fucking go live and die on Mars. So the advice I'm telling you now doesn't apply to me or expats that have been gone for years from the home country, but the infrequent first-time traveler, this is what I recommend that you do. Okay? As soon as you get back to your home country, say you're scheduled to get back on a Tuesday. You schedule your yearly physical for that Wednesday. Most everybody in the West, they get a yearly physical, right? And most everybody in the West got 2 weeks vacation or 1 week vacation or whatever it is per year. So why not schedule your annual physical the day after you get back from your annual fucking vacation, especially if it's an international one. You go in there the day after you get back and you talk to your doctor. And this is the very important part, and I'm going to illustrate it with a case study. You go in and you talk to your doctor, and this is what you say, and have some notes. Don't just go in there and say, yeah, I'm here for my annual physical, and talk about the fucking weather. You go in there and say, I'm here for my annual physical. I just got back from 10 days on the Serengeti Plain. While I was there, this is what happened to me. Okay? I was petting zebras when a fucking lion turned around and blew fucking piss out of his asshole, and it got all over me. I was crossing a river, I cut my foot, and it sort of got infected. And then a damn elephant sprayed water in my face from his fucking trunk. Oh, by the way, 3 people in my tour group got sick and had to go home early. So you paint a detailed picture to your doctor as to what the fuck you've been up to on this safari or this adventure you went on, so the doctor can start painting a picture in his head about what exactly he needs to test you for. Okay, if you go for an annual physical, they're not going to test you for fucking rabies. They're not going to test you for all these exotic, different conditions that you may have encountered or you may have picked up in the country where you went to. You got to paint that doctor a picture so he knows. If he doesn't know, he knows where to start Googling or calling his buddy or whatever. And then he knows what tests to order. Now, if you're going for an annual physical, maybe a lot of these extra tests will still be covered because it's your one time a year physical and the doctor fucking orders it, right? Okay, what happens if you don't communicate to your doctor exactly the way I just told you to communicate? Or if you go over to my website, the blog post is listed down in the description. At the bottom of the article, there's a link. And I heard about this before from my buddy Dennis. Dennis told me, he said, hey man, you hear about that girl? She was from, I think it was Norway. She came over to the Philippines, found a little puppy. She was playing with the puppy, and the puppy was nibbling on her fingers. She went back to her home country and fucking died of rabies like several weeks later. I was like, I didn't hear about that. That's horrible. Terrible. So I pulled that article up, and I wanted to include that case study to ram home the point, reiterate the point that if you have health insurance, you have access to fucking Western standard medical care. Exercise that shit the day you get back from your vacation from developing nations. And I hate that fucking term, but I'll throw it out there because everybody understands it. Or that fucking trip to the Serengeti Plain or wherever. Exercise your Western standard of medical care. Exercise that insurance card the day after you get back and paint your doctor a picture. Because in this young lady's case, from what I understand, she went back home to Norway. And folks, I don't have no idea what I'm talking about. this may be total bullshit, but it doesn't matter, because even if I just put this scenario out there, it's going to invoke thought. So if I'm way off, just correct me down in the comments for others to learn by. But she went back home, she got sick, she went to the doctor or the hospital. They couldn't figure out what was going on. At some point, she was hospitalized, and they finally figured out she had rabies, and it was too late, she died. Now, for me, and I don't know everything, but if that is true, okay, we certainly have a lack of communication between her and her doctor in the initial phases of this. Because the doctor wasn't saying, hey, what have you been doing? He wasn't playing medical detective, because if he had, she might have said, yeah, well, I got bit by this puppy over in the Philippines. Boom, rabies. Somehow or another, the dots weren't connected, and this young lady didn't live through the incident. So read her story. Utilize your insurance that you pay a lot of money every month for, and the premiums. Communicate with your doctor about where you were, what you were doing. Don't lie. If you fuck, 3 hookers in the ass without a condom, tell your doctor. If you can't trust your doctor, who the fuck can you trust, right? Just confide in him and her about what you've been doing, and then let them, figure out what they want to test you for and how they want to treat you, and maybe they want to do something just to be sure, But anyhow, my heart goes out to the young lady. But I'm not trying to be insensitive, but if you come to countries like Southeast Asia, regions like Southeast Asia or Central America, and you start petting stray dogs and cats, you're wrong. If a stray dog or cat scratches or bites you, you need to go straight to the fucking hospital and start the rabies protocol. Now, here in the Philippines, I haven't seen many veterinary clinics. In Thailand, they're fucking everywhere. Because people are buying more expensive dogs, they're taking their dogs to the vet. However, in Thailand, there's fucking soy dogs, stray dogs everywhere. Those dogs haven't received any vaccinations. If you see a stray dog here in the Philippines, it has never been vaccinated for anything. All of my friends who have dogs, I don't know the first person that's taken their dog to the fucking vet. I don't. And I'm not saying they don't. I'm telling you, my friends. I would be hard pressed to find one of my friends who have taken their dog to the vet. So if you see a goddamn stray dog on the side of the road, like this young lady did, leave that motherfucker be. Yeah, he's cute. Yes, my heart goes out to him. The chances of him having rabies are fucking pretty good. How much is your life worth? Now, it's one of those things where, this young lady just didn't realize that she wasn't in Norway anymore. And if you come over here and you realize, and you think you're still in Kansas, you're in the wrong mindset. It's just it's a different environment. The same applies. I mean, like, go to Guatemala and show me a fucking dog catcher. I never saw any. Go to the backwoods of Guatemala and show me a veterinary clinic. Okay. You see any fucking stray dogs, any stray animals, leave them the fuck alone, alright? Don't try to play Mother Teresa. You get bit, there's a good chance you've been exposed to rabies. Alright? So anyhow, read her story. Fucking heart goes out to her. My heart breaks over that. But there were some definite lack of common sense exercised on her part. I think there was a lack of communication between her and the doctors back in Norway, only based on my limited reading. And I think there was a lack of inquisitiveness about what she had been up to. by the medical staff. And again, you know what? I may know nothing about I don't know anything about the case. Let me just say that. So what I just described, let's just say that's a theoretical scenario. There you go. I don't know the whole fucking story. So I just described a theoretical scenario with the lesson being, don't be fucking around with stray dogs and cats when you leave the West. Goddamn, you wouldn't fuck with stray dogs and cats in most places in America. You call the fucking dog catcher and the guy comes and gets them, right? Folks, in closing, there's some... We started talking about traveler's diarrhea. I kind of got off topic. There's some nasty shit out there in the world that'll fuck you up, right? The probability is you will just catch something that I've discussed in this video, and it's going to ruin your fucking vacation. And Spider wanted me to reiterate to you that that's what it's about. It's about money. You're going to spend money on a plane ticket. You've got hotels booked. You've got plans. You fuck around and get this shit, it's just going to ruin your vacation. You're going to lose a few $1,000s. Okay? If you're watching this and you're fucked up in a hotel room somewhere down in Mexico, get over to the hospital. Don't fuck around. You can't assume it's simply traveler's diarrhea. You may be having an acute appendicitis. Your appendix has burst, and you're in fucking bad shape. So, any health situation, don't trust Dr. Google. Don't trust fucking Dr. Marcos. Go to the fucking nearest hospital. Tell them what's going on and let them make the fucking decision. You think you have traveler's diarrhea, but your appendix has burst, and now, fucking few days later, you're laying there dead, popping the fucking doxies. That's not the message here. Okay? This video is for what? Research, to invoke thought, and also for a little bit of entertainment. So get over to the hospital and be honest with the docs over there. Tell them what's been going on. And again, Spider said, hey, if you get this shit, it's gonna ruin your fucking vacation. So if you got a story, folks, that's the long story about traveler's diarrhea, what I've got to say about it. I didn't even tell the story about the time I couldn't leave a porta shitter in Kabul, and I actually ate at a higher end restaurant in Kabul. I mean, it was a local restaurant, but a higher end. That's what did me in. It wasn't any of the street food I ate out in the boondocks. It was a restaurant in Kabul, and it was a higher end restaurant. Gave me a case of the shits. That damn porta shitter, every time I tried to leave, I couldn't leave. And I ran out of the little bit of toilet paper I had, and I ended up wiping my ass with a sock. One sock. I tried to leave again, sprint back to the porta shitter, had to wipe my ass with that other sock. By that time, my buddy had already left, and I had to fucking walk way back down this hill, back down over there to the embassy area. And damn, I was wearing these fucking shoes, and by the time I got down there, I had blisters all over my damn feet. Because them damn socks were at the bottom of that fucking porta shitter. Anyhow, it's a long story short. So folks, in the comments, if you have anything to add or anything to correct, please leave it down there in the comments. I know there'll be some funny shit down there, but leave some serious comments as well, because I do get this question asked a lot, about getting sick, about the water, can you brush your teeth? I mean, people are concerned. You've never been somewhere, it's the unknown. It's human nature to be afraid of the unknown, especially when it comes to your health. So all my expats living here in Southeast Asia, please weigh in about what you do, what you don't do, your experiences. my first time travelers, if you got some questions, leave them down there, and hopefully some of my subscribers will respond and you know, and weigh in on your questions. And folks, I want to thank you for joining me. I think I have talked so long that my voice is about to go. I filled up one memory card on the first part of this video, and I think this one's about to get filled up. Who the hell knew that there was so much to talk about fucking travelers' diarrhea? Like I said, go to a lot of these videos. They're like 45 seconds long. I don't know. So I hope you learned something. I hope I at least invoke some thought. Show your doctor this video. See what he has to say about it. If you're not a subscriber, folks, bottom right hand corner of your screen, right there, there's this little white Overstay Road sign. What that is a subscribe button. So if you're not a subscriber, you click that, and then shit, I don't know what happens after that. You click it, maybe it says subscribe again, you click it again. Whatever, click that damn button and become a subscriber. Food, beer, and visas here on my channel. Bad behavior, drunkenness, a lot of drinking, everything in between. And I do videos on whatever the fuck I want to put out here. This isn't a niche channel, so if you come here just looking for shit about the Philippines just happens to be where I'm at and where I've been spending a lot of time. I don't have a niche here. I do whatever the hell I want. But I'd love to have you on the channel. Nothing scripted. This is kind of a calm video about a serious subject. But the next one, who knows? It might be about me making a fucking grilled cheese sandwich or grilling some shrimp, or I might be drunk over at the local strip club. Shit, that reminds me, I missed SOB night. Excuse me for a minute, folks. Hello? Hey, how are you? You're coming to Subic? It gets here at 11:30. Oh, it's leaving at 11:30. Okay, all right, no problem. Just call me when you get close to Olongapo. Okay, all right. Make sure you just call me when you get to Olongapo. Okay. Okay, all right. It's no problem. Okay, all right. Bye bye. Ah, damn. That's my daughter's mother. She's on the way to pick up my daughter. We got an agreement, you know. Spends half the time with me, half the time with her. We've had some hiccups along the way, but that's fair. I mean, how can you get any fairer than that? You know, if I was in the West, no way anybody in the West, in America, at least in my country, in the U.S., gets their kids 50% of the time. That's a whole nother topic, but I'm going to go ahead and conclude this, spend the last few minutes I can with my daughter, and I want to thank everybody for joining me on this video. I'll see you guys on the next adventure, next video, the next live stream. Peace out, my friends. Have a good night wherever you're at in the world.